If I woke up tomorrow and absolutely had to drop 30 pounds in the next 90 days, no excuses, no BS, this is the exact protocol I would follow. And I'm not talking about some crash diet that destroys your metabolism and leaves you looking like a deflated balloon. I'm talking about a strategic, science-backed approach that strips fat while preserving muscle, keeps your energy high, and actually sets you up for long-term success. Skip even one part of this and you will fail. Stay until the end, because step 7 is the secret nobody talks about, and it's probably the most important one. Let me be brutally honest with you. Most people who say they want to lose 30 pounds don't actually want to do what it takes. They want a magic pill, a miracle shake, or some weird hack they saw on TikTok. And look, I get it. We live in a world of instant gratification, where you can get anything delivered to your door in 2 hours, but your body doesn't work that way. However, if you're actually serious, if you're truly committed to making this happen, then what I'm about to share will work. I've used variations of this exact approach with hundreds of clients, and I've done it myself multiple times. The principles don't change, the science doesn't lie, and the results speak for themselves. But understand this right now. This is not easy. This requires discipline, consistency, and a level of commitment that most people simply aren't willing to give. If you're still here, good. That tells me you're different. Let's get into it. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable, I would immediately create a caloric deficit of 500 to 700 calories per day. Notice I didn't say 1,000 or 1,500. That's where most people screw up. They cut calories so drastically that their metabolism crashes, their hormones get destroyed, and they end up binging within 2 weeks. A 500 to 700 calorie deficit allows you to lose 1 to 1.5 pounds per week consistently, which over 90 days is 12 to 18 pounds from diet alone. But we're not stopping there. Here's how I'd structure my calories. I'd calculate my maintenance calories, which for most people is their body weight times 14 or 15. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that's roughly 3,000 calories to maintain. Subtract 600, and you're at 2,400 calories per day. That's your target. But here's the key. I would not just count calories blindly. I'd make sure my macros are dialed in perfectly because the composition of those calories matters just as much as the total number. Which brings me to step 2. I would set my protein intake at 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. If I'm 200 pounds trying to get to 170, I'm eating 170 grams of protein every single day, no exceptions. Protein is the most thermogenic macronutrient, meaning your body burns more calories digesting it than carbs or fats. It preserves lean muscle mass while you're in a deficit, which is crucial because muscle is metabolically active tissue that burns calories, even at rest. Protein keeps you full and satisfied, dramatically reducing cravings and the likelihood of binging. Most people trying to lose weight make the massive mistake of dropping protein and focusing on cardio, and they end up skinny fat, losing muscle along with fat. Not me. Not you if you follow this. My protein sources would be egg whites, chicken breast, lean ground turkey, white fish like cod or tilapia, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and a high-quality whey protein isolate. Every single meal would be built around protein first, then I'd add my other macros around it. Step 3 is where things get interesting. I would implement a strategic carb cycling protocol. This is not some complex bodybuilding strategy. It's actually super simple and incredibly effective for fat loss. Here's how it works. On the 4 days per week that I'm doing resistance training, which we'll get to in a minute, I eat higher carbs, roughly 150 to 200 grams. On the 3 days I'm not training or doing low-intensity cardio only, I drop carbs to 50 to 75 grams and increase healthy fats slightly to keep calories consistent. Why does this work? On training days, your muscles are primed to absorb and use carbohydrates for energy and recovery. You're fueling performance and muscle preservation. On rest days, keeping carbs lower helps maintain the caloric deficit while encouraging your body to tap into fat stores for energy. The carbs I'd eat would be strategic: sweet potatoes, white rice, oatmeal, quinoa, and tons of vegetables. I'd completely eliminate processed carbs, added sugars, bread, pasta, and anything that comes in a box or bag. This alone would probably account for a massive portion of the fat loss because most people are consuming hundreds of empty calories daily from these foods without even realizing it. Step 4, and this is critical, I would lift heavy weights 4 times per week following an upper-lower split. Day 1 is upper body push and pull. Day 2 is lower body quads and glutes dominant. Day 3 is rest or light activity. Day 4 is upper body with different exercises and rep ranges. Day 5 is lower body hamstrings and glutes dominant. Day 6 and 7 are rest or low-intensity cardio. Each workout would be 45 to 60 minutes max, focused on compound movements. Think bench press, rows, overhead press, pull-ups, squats, deadlifts, lunges, and hip thrusts. I'd work in the 6 to 12 rep range, pushing close to failure on every set. Here's why this matters so much. When you're in a caloric deficit, Your body wants to shed any tissue that's not absolutely necessary. If you're not sending a strong signal that your muscles are needed, your body will cannibalize them for energy. By lifting heavy and progressively overloading, you're telling your body that muscle is essential and must be preserved. This ensures that the 30 pounds you lose comes primarily from fat, not muscle. Most people do the opposite. They stop lifting and do tons of cardio, then wonder why they look soft and weak even after losing weight. Step 5 is strategic cardio, and I'm very specific about this. I would do 2 types: low-intensity steady-state cardio, which is walking at an incline or on flat ground for 30 to 45 minutes, 4 to 5 times per week, ideally fasted in the morning, or after my last meal at night. This burns additional calories without interfering with recovery from weight training. Then, twice per week, I do high-intensity interval training for 15 to 20 minutes max. This could be sprints on a bike, rowing machine, or even hill sprints outside. Something like 30 seconds all-out effort followed by 90 seconds recovery, repeated for 10 rounds. HIIT is incredibly effective for fat loss because it creates a massive metabolic disturbance, elevates your metabolism for hours after you finish, and improves insulin sensitivity. But here's the thing most people get wrong: more cardio is not better. I'd rather do 4 quality cardio sessions per week than 7 mediocre ones that leave me exhausted and unable to recover. Recovery is where the magic happens. If you're so burned out from cardio that you can't lift heavy in the gym, you're sabotaging your results. Step 6 is non-negotiable sleep and stress management. Honestly, I would prioritize getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every single night. Sleep is when your body repairs, when growth hormone is released, when cortisol is regulated, and when hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin are balanced. Studies show that people who sleep less than 6 hours per night lose significantly less fat and more muscle when dieting, compared to those who sleep 7 to 8 hours, even when consuming the same calories. So, I'd create a sleep routine. No screens 1 hour before bed. Keep the room completely dark and cool, around 65 to 68 degrees. Maybe take a magnesium supplement before bed. And definitely, no caffeine after noon. And I'd also manage stress like my life depends on it, because chronic stress elevates cortisol, which promotes fat storage, especially around the midsection, increases cravings for junk food, and impairs recovery. I'd implement daily stress management, 10 minutes of meditation or deep breathing in the morning, a gratitude journal before bed, time in nature when possible, and yeah, I'd cut out toxic people and situations as much as humanly possible. Your environment and mental state directly impact your physical results. Ignore this at your own peril. Step 7, and this is the one nobody talks about, I would implement a weekly refeed day. Once per week, typically on my hardest training day, I would increase my calories to maintenance or slightly above, primarily from carbohydrates. So instead of 2,400 calories, I'd eat maybe 2,800 to 3,000, with an extra 300 to 400 grams of carbs. You might be wondering, why would I do this when I'm trying to lose fat? Well, because when you're in a prolonged caloric deficit, your body adapts. Your metabolism slows down, your thyroid hormones decrease, your leptin levels drop, and your body becomes more efficient at storing fat and less efficient at burning it. A strategic refeed day does several things. It replenishes muscle glycogen, making you look and feel fuller. It provides a psychological break, making the diet more sustainable. It temporarily boosts leptin and thyroid hormones, counteracting metabolic adaptation, and it improves your performance in the gym the following days. But look, this is not a cheat day where you eat pizza and ice cream until you hate yourself. This is a strategic, calculated increase in quality carbohydrates like rice, potatoes, oatmeal, and fruit, while keeping protein high and fats moderate. I'd plan this day in advance, track everything, and get right back to my deficit the next day. This single strategy is often the difference between someone who loses 30 pounds and keeps it off versus someone who loses 15 plateaus and gains it all back. Step 8 is complete elimination of liquid calories and alcohol. I would drink only water, black coffee, green tea, and maybe sparkling water. No juice, no soda, not even diet soda because artificial sweeteners can mess with insulin response and gut health. No alcohol whatsoever for the entire 90 days. Alcohol is literally empty calories, 7 calories per gram with zero nutritional value. It impairs muscle protein synthesis, disrupts sleep quality, lowers testosterone, increases estrogen, and makes you more likely to make poor food choices. Just 2 beers or 2 glasses of wine can add 300 to 400 calories to your day, and most people drink way more than that. Eliminating alcohol alone could create an additional deficit of 1,000 to 2,000 calories per week, which over 90 days is an extra 3 to 6 pounds of fat loss. I'd also drink at least a gallon of water per day, sometimes more. Water helps with appetite control, supports metabolic function, aids digestion, and helps flush out toxins and excess sodium. I'd start every morning with 16 to 20 ounces of water before anything else. Step 9 is radical accountability and tracking. I would track every single thing I ate in an app like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, every meal, every snack, every bite. I'd weigh myself every single morning under the same conditions, after using the bathroom, before eating or drinking anything. And I'd track the weekly average, not daily fluctuations. I'd take progress photos every 2 weeks, in the same lighting, same location, same poses. I'd measure my waist, hips, chest, arms, and thighs every 2 weeks. And I'd either hire a coach or find an accountability partner who was as serious as me. Someone I check in with weekly, sharing my food logs, training logs, and progress. This level of accountability eliminates excuses. You can't lie to the data. You can't pretend you're doing everything right when the numbers and photos show otherwise. Most people fail because they're not truly accountable to anyone, including themselves. And finally, step 10 is the mental game. I would visualize my goal every single day. I'd see myself 30 pounds lighter, feel how my clothes fit better, imagine the confidence and energy I'd have. I'd write down my why, the real deep reason I'm doing this, and read it every morning. Maybe it's to be healthy for my kids. Maybe it's to prove to myself I can do hard things. Maybe it's to finally feel confident in my own skin. Whatever it is, that why has to be stronger than any craving, any excuse, any moment of weakness. I'd also prepare for obstacles. I'd know that there will be days I don't feel like working out, days I'm tempted to quit, social situations where everyone's eating junk. I'd have a plan for each scenario, meal prep done in advance, gym bag packed the night before, healthy snacks available, scripts ready for when someone offers me food I don't want. The people who succeed aren't lucky or gifted, they're prepared. They make decisions in advance and execute regardless of how they feel in the moment. So there it is. If I absolutely had to drop 30 pounds in 90 days, this is exactly what I'd do. 500 to 700 calorie deficit, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight, strategic carb cycling, heavy resistance training 4 times per week, strategic cardio, prioritized sleep and stress management, weekly refeeds, 0 liquid calories or alcohol, radical accountability and tracking, and an unshakable mental game. Will this be easy? Absolutely not. Will it work? 100% yes if you actually do it. The question is, are you willing to do what most people won't, so you can have what most people don't? If you found this valuable, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me what your biggest challenge is with fat loss. Subscribe because I'm dropping more no BS fitness and nutrition content that actually works. And remember, 90 days from now you're going to arrive. The only question is where. Make the decision right now. Let's get